So, real quick, because I know based on the comments here, I've got a handful of right-wingers who watch my stuff over on the NekoSurisLIVE channel. Hey, by the way, I also have a main channel if you want to go make fun of me over there. Like, you can do that. It does nothing but help me. Thank you for commenting, by the way. I also have a Magic the Gathering channel you could subscribe to. That would be also kind of cool. But, okay, so I gotta ask you a question. How many of you on the right wing of politics are okay with us going into another war? Forever war or not, why are you okay with that? If you are okay with that. And if you're not okay with that, let me know why that is. If you're on the left, you can do the same thing. I'm okay with you spouting your opinion down there, but like, let's be honest, we're on the same side. I'm actually less interested in your opinion because I already share it. Like, I'm anti the war in Iran, not because I think that Iran is a good regime that should be kept for all time. They're weirdly okay with trans people, so, like, I mean, there's that, but they also really don't like gay people and want to throw them off buildings, so there's also that. I am not really good with that regime, but I'm also not good with the idea of war. I don't think that it is a generally good thing. I feel like war, that kind of violence at that scale, while also being political violence, by the way, if you're pro-war, you're pro-political violence, just throwing that out there. But violence at that scale tends to kill a lot of people as collateral damage. And as somebody who's from a military family who had to wonder anytime my dad went on TDY if he was going to actually come back, I don't really like the idea of sending our military members into a fucking war zone. Now, that said, Trump is still very convinced this isn't a war. Iran war is not a war. Over, also not, so why don't you love me anymore, America? Did anyone... Okay, so this is a very, very partisan newsletter that I'm looking at, just so you guys know. I'm reading it for funsies. I could have grabbed, like, CNN or Fox News or ABC or any of the more, like, quote, legitimate networks in order to get a less partisan version of this, but I specifically wanted to make fun of the Orange Man while also getting y'all's opinions on the war shit, so here we are. Did anyone watch Donald Trump's speech last night? LOL, LMAO. Did you know a recipe for grout cleaner is to make paste with 2 parts baking soda, 1 part peroxide, plus 1 teaspoon dish per 3/4 cup? Then you spread the paste on grout in sections, let it marinate for a couple minutes, and scrub it with your ex-husband's Sonicare. Then wipe and mop when finished. Fresh as a daisy. Oh, right. The speech from old humper of many and lover to none. He got up on his platform to try to sell anyone who would watch on Operation There's No Epstein Files in Iran. Bless you, Associated Press, for providing a transcript. Did you know the AP is a non-profit? They're mostly sustained by news outlets' wire subscriptions. A death of the pulp-based newspaper business over the past decade, and then the rise of AI has wounded them terribly. But the staff remaining are still grinding away. Are we procrastinating reading Trump's moanings? You betcha. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm not... They're talking about Artemis 2. That's cool as well. I feel like this is the rhetoric that I'm okay with in a video, because it's funny in a video, but if I'm reading, like, my attention span is already struggling to be held at this point. Okay. One thing about Trump is he is good at explaining things simply. He entirely invents facts, but you never come away from an encounter not knowing how he expects a person to feel about a thing. Rocket good, everybody like, but now his Iran war operation is plummeting his approval ratings like torn up Sharpie notes circling the waste hole of a Trump 1.0 White House commode. Everybody should be all for the war, though, he said, because Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Wait, hold on a minute. I remember hearing this exact rhetoric. I remember hearing #1 state sponsor of terror stuff back in the Bush administration. Like, a lot. Okay, hold on. I got a clip to show you real quick. So, like, I know that Resident Evil 4 was written after 9/11. The way that I know that it was written after 9/11, aside from being able to look at the obvious release dates of things, is because of the dialogue in Resident Evil 4.
So nice you could join us, Mr. Scott Kennedy.
You again.
The sacred rite that's about to begin at this tower shall endow the girl with magnificent power. She will join us, become one of us.
This is no ritual. It's terrorism.
Isn't that a popular word these days? Not to worry. We've prepared a special ritual for you.
So, the reason I can tell that Resident Evil 4 was written after 9/11 is because of that lovely dialogue right there. I adore the terrorism. Isn't that a popular word these days? Because it's the same shit. It's the same shit now. Whenever Trump is saying Iran's the #1 sponsor of terrorism, you know, ignoring Russia, ignoring the people who actually fund state media to destabilize us, let's just ignore that shit. I'm sorry, but I heard all of this once before. I've heard it before, and I'll hear it again. I'm sure that I'm going to hear it again when some other dumb fuck Republican decides to be a war hawk. Senate says, or the Trump regime for domestic terrorism. Man, what is domestic terrorism if not January 6th? Oh, boy. But the U.S. has accused the Iranian government of sending about $100 to $700 million worth of reals a year to Palestinian proxy groups like Hamas and Hezbollah that target Zionist Christians and Jews, with the evidence on a just trust Mike Pompeo bro basis. Reliable numbers have gotten even harder to come by too, since most criminal organizations have increasingly moved towards using crypto. And hey, remember how one of Trump 2.0's first acts was to delete USAID, the government do-gooder agency that was actually a front for cracking down on money laundering and keeping tabs on dictators worldwide? Quickly followed by getting rid of any kind of oversight of crypto, pardoning crypto bros and money laundering scanners? Yeah, you know, I did a video ages ago about the USAID thing and how that's such an important part of the United States' soft power, which, you know, technically is being in favor of our own fucking imperialism, but it is a part of our soft power that has been important in the past and inadvertently does good. Said, where were we? Oh, only to the first sentence of the second paragraph. The second paragraph, in these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. My fucking God. Is anybody else tired of hearing Trump do the bigger than ever before, better than ever before, more than ever before? Nobody thought it was possible, but here we are. I fucking... Tonight, Iran's navy is gone, their air force is in ruins, their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Okay, so I have a prediction. And maybe this isn't going to come true. This could age like milk. In fact, I kind of hope it ages like milk. But you know how we were told Ukraine was going to last for like a week? Does anybody remember that? Does anybody remember when the Ukraine war was supposed to last a month? Then, like, we were told that Russia didn't have the army or the wherewithal or the troops or the morale or whatever the fuck in order to keep on doing shit in Ukraine. And it's been 5 years. Does anybody remember that? Because it's been a while now and that war is still going on. I feel as if this is gonna be the same thing. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong because I don't want us involved in more fucking wars. But I've heard this terrorist nonsense before. Even though I'm not okay with Iran's regime, again, I've heard this #1 sponsor of terror thing before. And I've heard this, the war will last a few days and be decisive before. And every time I've heard it, a country has been locked in conflict for years to come. Every fucking time. It's either that Ukraine doesn't have enough armaments to protect themselves from a large enough Russian siege, they don't have the personnel, they're running out, or Russia doesn't have the armaments to do their thing either, or, it's, again, with Iran, it's going to be they don't have the ability to fight back, but they're the #1 sponsor of terror, so they've got all these weapons, so of course they're going to be able to fight back. Also, they could just start working with Russia, and then suddenly they'll have access to the ability to engage in a war against the United States for a while. And guess what? If it's a war on their turf, we can't fucking trigger NATO at that point, as far as I'm aware. Jesus Christ. So, the Iranian Air Force still exists, still has weapons and at least one munitions factory. Not to mention, we assume whatever Russia, China, North Korea wants to send them. And Iran is still able to launch missiles and drones. That doesn't sound very winning. This is like helping a kid with their homework, diagramming paragraphs, and they're like, but I don't want to upside down in the chair with a pencil eraser up a nostril. And the kid is us. Our enemies are losing... sorry, this is a Donald Trump quote, so I have to do that infuriating thing that everybody does where they impersonate him. Our enemies are losing, and America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning. Now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing the current situation, I also want to thank all of our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela. iPhone 100 million killed in a matter of minutes. We're totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. That's why we bombed schools. We killed children because we're there to help. We're spreading democracy with freedom seeds. They happen to be in 22 and 9mm. Full metal jacket mostly. Gotta get the double tap. We're not totally independent of the Middle East, and yet here we are. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Also, yeah, I like that the article points out, we're not there for the oil? Then why does the gas cost so much more? Man, I'm so happy that I have an electric vehicle now. Like, I know that I had a friend who, when I mentioned I had an EV, they started talking about like, oh, that's so much better for the environment. I'm like, that's not why I bought it. I bought it so I could save money. That selfishly, that is why I bought it. It would be cheaper for me to fill up the car. The insurance was cheaper. The repairs are less often. There's less moving parts in the damn thing. I bought it to save money. That's what I did. And it has done that. Senna says, sucks they nuked the EV tax credit last year. It does suck they nuked the EV tax credit. I'm so happy that I got mine before the tax credit went away. Naki Bree says, I've somewhat been considering an EV at some point, but what's the cost like? I mean, I can tell you that my power bill has only fluctuated by like $20. At least according to the fluctuations that Georgia Power sends me. I'm on flat bill, so my bill doesn't technically go up, but I am able to see what the costs would have been had I not, had I not been on flat bill. I'm allowed to see those things. Gideon Well says, here, mine is costing the equivalent of $1.60 gas. Rusty Shank says, how bad are your electric rates in Georgia? Very bad. Very bad. Rusty Shank said, or Naki Bree says, like $20 per month. Yeah, that's basically what is going on. But okay, I'm unpaused now because we did quick math for how much money it costs to fill up my EV, and the math breaks down to like $2-3 basically. So there you go. That's what was going on right now. Said Alec also has a power versus energy video. Dorita says, oh, I can't wait to see your new power bill with new AC. I am interested as well. That said, let's get back to the article. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I also vowed we'd never go to war. I broke that one. Remember when I broke that one? Operation Epstein Fury? Oh my god, that is hilarious. But anyway, this fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. I mean, that's not untrue. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barrack bombing of Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out countless other heinous acts, including the horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel. Okay, so, yes, that is true. He's actually technically not lying about those, surprisingly. That said, when we talk about October 7th, we also have to bring in the context of, like, we operate as if October 7th was, like, the beginning of things over in Israel on the Gaza Strip, but, like, let's be 100% honest, that is not the case. It's been an ongoing thing for decades. Jesus Christ. Axel says, you haven't heard that yet? No, I haven't. Something that most people never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on Earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. It's like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. Okay, so I am curious. I'm actually a little curious on those numbers. Okay, so of course in another... Okay, so Trump is a fisherman. Not that he actually goes fishing. That would require a modicum of skill, but no, he is a fisherman storyteller. He took the number 3,000-ish, which is a lot. Like, okay, if the United States killed 3,000 people in protests, I'd be fucking pissed. We do kill quite a few people in our own protests. It's really sad. So, like, I'd be pissed at any regime doing that. Even one is too many. So, the fact that the number is lower doesn't change a whole lot, but, like, if the number's already bad when it's 3,117... why do you have to inflate it to 45,000? Like, that feels kind of strange. That isn't necessary at all. Okay, so the rest of this seems to be basically doing the same thing that I do here when I'm reading something and then I provide, like, what I assume is witty commentary, but, like, then you unsubscribe, so I know for a fact it's not, but I do it anyway because I'm also really bad at learning lessons. But... so I'm not really super concerned about the commentary that's in here, but it is interesting to me that there is an entire cottage industry around fact-checking Donald Trump speeches here. So here we go. Let's look at the nuclear capability thing. The president said that Iran sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. The phrase right at the doorstep is vague, but arms control experts have said that there's lack of evidence that Iran was building its nuclear program before the U.S. or Israeli military operation, and that a nuclear weapon was not imminent. Okay, that's what we already knew. Stuff about Iran's missile range, the Obama nuclear deal. The president criticized a multilateral nuclear government negotiated by former President Barack Obama. You know, it's weird. He acts like a scorned lover with Obama and Biden so fucking much. It's weird. You'd think he tried to have a threesome with them on Epstein Island and they just didn't let him. Trump, who withdrew the U.S. from the agreement in his first term, said the nuclear deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran. But as we've written before, we can't say what would have happened if the agreement had remained in place, and Trump noted that this was his opinion. But the deal, called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, and also signed by China, France, Russia, and the United Kingdom and Germany, put restrictions on uranium enrichment by Iran for 15 years and required inspection of Iran's nuclear facilities. In exchange for Iran abiding by the deal, the other countries agreed to lift sanctions on Iran. But of course, Trump backs out of that deal because he wants to bomb them. That's what he wants to do. Man, I remember when we were doing the war on terror initially, and a very particular song was thrown around on, like, E-Bomb's World. There it is. Found it.
Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, bomb, bomb.
So, when this was going around E-Bomb's World years ago, it was, let's bomb Iraq, yeah, let's attack. This meme is gonna keep coming up over and over and over. Over and over and over. Said that was a John McCain song. It's hilarious to me and sad to me watching the history repeat itself here. So again, I gotta bring us back to the question from the beginning of the video. If you're on the right wing, just real quick, why are you okay with this? Like, you voted for this guy. Are you okay with him dragging us into more wars? Are you okay with, like, the collective sons and daughters of America going and risking their lives to stop nuclear weapons that aren't there? Because, like, I feel like we weren't really on board when Bush did the exact same fucking thing. It's really weird that he went from following the Reagan philosophy of being a president to the Bush philosophy of the president. Isn't that kind of strange? Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.